I'm just going to tumble down and just destroy all these kids.
We should both do it at the same time. Not like in the same room, but...
Do you feel guilty about that?
I feel pretty guilty about it.
Yes. They were like, we might have to amputate your hands.
I still remember First Sergeant looking at me like, you fucking piece of shit. you damn liar. I want to give a quick update. So, on a previous episode, we talked extensively about knives and that you like to carry one every day. Mm-hmm. Everywhere you go. It's like a wallet, keys, knife.
Right.
I started doing it because you suggested that I try like a 30-day challenge with it. Mm-hmm. And it's been about a week so far. I've carried the knife with me every day. And I have a report.
Okay.
So the report is, I like it.
Nice.
I like it. I documented all the things that I've used it for in the last week. There's not a lot, but there's a few. Okay. A pack of chicken thighs when I was cooking.
Mm-hmm. Just do the quick around the edges.
Yeah, and it's like there was a kitchen knife, somewhat nearby, but not as close as my pocket. Mm-hmm. So that was just efficient. Yeah. Very convenient. A pack of cards, some playing cards, Exploding Kittens. It was like a fresh pack. Yeah. And my girlfriend was trying to open it with like her nails and stuff, and I was like, oh no. I got really excited. I was like, no, don't open it. She was like about to open it. I was like, no. She's like, what? And I pulled out the knife and I felt so cool. I was like, I've learned there's a level of satisfaction for having that tool when nobody else has it.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I'm the man right now, And she was like, I could have just opened it, but it just made me feel good. It makes you feel
satisfying.
Good. It's very satisfying.
Yes.
Which I wasn't expecting. And then the other thing was, there was a loose thread coming off of her skirt. We were about to go out, and the thread was just, I don't know how it got so long. It was like longer than her skirt. And I was like, stay there. And I just whip out the knife, and she's still not used to it. So she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, just stay still. And I just like got it. I'm already a believer.
I'm already a believer. You haven't opened any boxes with it?
I actually haven't gotten really any packages since then.
Because that's one of the main.
That would be, yeah. I think since I've slowed down the tech stuff, I just don't get as many things in.
Okay.
But I did have an opportunity to open one package, but mail thief. I got stolen. No. I got robbed. Yes.
That never happens.
I know. It's crazy. Because I ordered a book. Mm-hmm. It was actually a book on how to not be a shitty stand-up comic. and it was delivered. I checked my cameras, saw the delivery guy, the postal man, put it in my mailbox. And then when I went to go check on it like a day later or whatever, it was gone.
Wow. You didn't get into the footage and try to spot the thief?
I tried to, but I didn't find it.
Yeah.
But also I think he did it at night when it's just not as clear.
Yeah, you can't see as much.
Yeah, and it's like too far away where, well, I don't want to give too much about how my security cameras work, but ultimately I wasn't able to spot him. But I was on the Neighbors app, and there were reports in my neighborhood of a mail thief. Probably the same guy. It was like down the street from me. Someone stole a package off my doorstep. I was like, that tracks.
That's interesting, because that's a new thing. Your neighborhood has been pretty safe on that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's a nice neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I think once you get south of a certain street that's down below, it gets a little rougher.
Yeah.
And I think maybe some bad actors have caught on, like, oh, like the houses up there have nicer stuff in their mailboxes.
Yeah.
Let's go up there and steal.
Might want to consider teaming up with some neighbors to set up a sting operation.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting, huh? That'd be kind of cool. I'm such a bitch, though. I'm such a pussy. Because I'm like, then what happens if, like, because then they know where I live, and they're like, well, fuck this guy. We're going to retaliate and then break into his house and steal his TV or whatever.
No, it's just like a neighborhood watch thing where you're like, oh, the guy is spotted. All right, everybody muster. Yeah. Be ready to move out in 5 minutes.
Right, yeah. Yeah, or, just get a glitter bomb. Make a glitter bomb, put it in there.
Okay.
Hopefully they never come back.
Yeah.
Or they just, tag up my house and just throw a brick through my window. I don't know. It's dicey, man. It's like, do you want to open that door? Like,
I guess
start a war with someone who has less to lose than you do.
Maybe time to start thinking about doing signature required for your more valuable things.
Yeah, I could do that. Fortunately, it was just this $12 book, so it wasn't that bad. But yeah, it's the first time it's ever happened.
That's a bummer, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Porch pirates are scum.
Yeah, it's I hate how desperate people are.
Have you cut yourself with that knife?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I know it's probably just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Like, how often does it happen with you?
Not that often anymore, but I've been messing with knives for 15 years. So
yeah, right.
I've learned I'm not a good cutting board.
Yeah, like you learn that lesson quick.
Like I was like, hey, I want to see. I just sharpened my knife. I'm going to cut through a piece of cord, and
with your hand behind it,
with my fingertip as the backstop. Yeah, not my brightest moment.
It's that false sense of confidence. Like, I have enough control over this to not nick myself, and then whoop.
I do have a number of scars that I can attribute to knife related injuries, but
yeah,
they're all pretty old. I haven't tried to catch a throwing knife in a long time.
Right. You're a seasoned knifer by this point.
More or less, yeah.
I actually have a lot of nicks and stuff and scars on my hands too, but most of them are from case fans.
Oh yeah, no. There's always sharp
PC case fans
components. Or do you ever find the sides of the case to be sharp?
Maybe with some of the really cheap cases where they don't like roll the edges of the metal.
Yeah.
And those can be a little unsafe. I've never cut myself on one as far as I remember, but usually the cases I work with are quality enough where there's nothing super jagged.
Okay.
But it is a concern with like some of the more, budget stuff.
Well, I look forward to further updates on your knife utilization and enjoyment.
Yeah. Although I will say I haven't been carrying a flashlight. I still haven't looked around my house for the one that you gave me a while back. Mm-hmm. I feel like that one is somewhat is probably not going to be as useful to me as the knife because I have a light on my phone, even though it's not the greatest light.
Yeah.
It is a light, and it does help sometimes.
I always forget that I have a flashlight on my phone.
I'm sure you do. Like when you have a way better one on hand, it's like why use this garbage thing?
Yeah,
but maybe I'll get around to that as well. But the knife is going well. I'm very happy with it. Thanks for suggesting it.
Nice.
We have a new segment on this show today. Toxic traits. I added this channel to the Discord server, and people were very quick to
jump in there and
tell us how horrible they are. So thank you guys. Christian, I leave everybody on red until they ask why. That's aggressive.
That's fairly toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like why would you want to be friends with somebody who you text and they just never reply until you ask, well, what's up?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah. And I'm wondering like what the reason I'd like to find out more about this guy and ask why he does that. Is it just he hates texting? Because some people are just anti-text.
I can see that. But even if that's the case, like if you get a text and you're just like, I don't want to text, you can try to call the person.
Right. Yeah.
Be like, hey, let's have a conversation.
Yeah. Or just let people know, like, I don't text. Mm-hmm. If you need to get a hold of me, this is how to do it. And instead of just leaving them on
not responding.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll rate that one 7 out of 10 toxic.
7 out of 10 toxic. That's pretty high. I would get actually, but it is kind of a dick move. If he just does it constantly, yeah, it's probably a 7. That's a good 7. Deeth, I'm half deaf, but I am fully selectively hearing everything my wife says.
They're actually like hearing impaired.
Yeah, hearing impaired. But
I mean, you don't have to be hearing impaired to use selective hearing with your wife.
Right. But I'm guessing he just uses that as the excuse.
Okay.
Like, sorry, honey, I didn't hear you. I'm half deaf, remember? When really he did hear it.
That's a good excuse.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
It's convenient.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not convenient to be hard of hearing, but in that case, I can see it being utilized productively.
Right. And his wife has to have caught on by now, right? Like, how come you never hear me say take out the trash, but you always hear, do you want to have sex or whatever? It's like, it's got to be obvious at that point.
I mean, if he plays his cards close to his chest, he can probably get away with it for a while.
Yeah.
I'm going to rate that a 3 out of 10.
Smash all pots. Anytime someone vents to me about their issues, I just try to fix it or give them a solution even when they don't want it.
That's
can relate to this.
That's classic man behavior.
Yeah.
Because I learned this a while back. When you're in a relationship, well, I guess, or whoever it is, but especially problematic in a relationship, when your significant other is venting, my understanding is they just want to be heard and validated.
Exactly.
But it's really hard to do that unless you're really conscious about it, unless you're really focused on it. As a man, you're just like, you have problems? Let's troubleshoot this. Yeah. Let's find some solutions.
Right. And you have the best intentions, you know, you're just trying to be helpful.
Right. But
it's the last thing they want.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it pisses them off.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you're just hearing this for the first time, practice. If your significant other is venting to you about something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go, ooh, let's go into problem solving mode. We'll fix this together, honey.
Yeah.
No, it very well may be that you just need to practice active listening.
Yeah.
Let them get it out, make them feel heard, make them feel validated.
Right.
And if you're feeling compelled to try to find a solution, keep that in your back pocket. Come back to it later and be like, hey, I remember you were talking about this the other day and I had this idea, you know.
Right.
Bring it up when they're in a different mindset.
Exactly. Yeah. Because they're not seeking answers in that moment. They're seeking comfort and understanding. Right. There's a great episode from Parks and Rec where Andy's trying to talk to his girlfriend. No, it was Chris Traeger's talking to his girlfriend, and she's got all these complaints and she's, you know, miserable, and he's just trying to fix everything. And then he's like, she gets pissed at me every time. And then his coworkers are like, just say, that sucks. Next time she complains or bitches about something, just say, that sucks. And so like there's this great scene where she like comes back from work and she's pissed off and he's like, that sucks. And she's like, I know, right? It's like, it's so good. It's so true.
That's an oversimplification, but it's not useless. It can work.
Yep. 100%.
So I don't know. I guess it seems like he's conscious of doing that. Right. Like not being willing to make the sacrifice of being an active listener and listen to them vent. It's just like, you have problems, you're talking to me, let's come up with solutions.
Right.
And then that, I'm imagining that helps to keep people from bringing their problems.
Yeah.
Because they know they're not going to get the validation and listening that they want.
Right.
They're just going to get solutions, which is what they don't want. Yeah. So it's almost like building boundaries, which is maybe not the most diplomatic way to do it, but I think building social boundaries like that, where people are, you know, just trying to take your time and attention,
right,
and you rebuffing them is actually a positive thing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like, you know, I've had my fair share of therapy and stuff in the past, and, you know, I think I always go into it thinking or hoping that they'll just give me answers or fix my problems. And they never do, really. They just kind of like, you know, make you talk to the wall and sort of bounce it back to you. But then you always feel better afterwards. Even though they didn't provide any kind of solutions and you're still just kind of in this rut, you just feel better that it's a weight lifted off your shoulders and that you had a listening ear.
Yeah.
Someone that genuinely seemed to care about what you had to say.
And if it's a good therapist, they'll give you insights into like, hey, maybe you should think about why you feel that way.
Exactly, yeah.
Whatever.
Right.
So it's worthwhile.
Definitely. I like that one. Yeah, I would give that one like a 2 out of 10 for toxicity.
Yeah.
Because the intentions are pure, it seems.
Yeah. It's just, there's probably a more diplomatic way to do it, but that's the solution they chose.
Right. This brown geek, whenever Facebook tells me it's someone's birthday, I use that as a reminder to reassess whether I still want them on my Facebook. I deleted about 25 people from my friends list so far on their birthdays.
That's, I don't know if that's toxic. I mean, that's just pruning.
Yeah.
Like
right.
you only have the attention to deal with so many people.
Right.
And I can't directly relate because I haven't done anything with Facebook in like close to a decade.
Yeah.
But if Facebook is the thing for you and it's a utility for you communicating with your friends and staying in touch and everything, and when somebody's birthday comes up, they're up for review,
right?
And they don't make the cut, and you delete them.
Yeah.
Then there's probably some thought that goes into that, like, hey, have I heard from this person in the last year, or do I care to correspond with them?
Right.
No? Well, then purge.
Yeah. I think it's healthy, honestly, to sort of just trim the things in your life that don't really serve you, don't serve any purpose. Especially if you're posting publicly on Facebook all the time, you don't want just... Because eventually, sometimes people become strangers. People that you knew become strangers again. You go 5 years without talking or whatever. You're like, I don't know if I want all these random people that I used to talk to seeing every single thing I post.
Right.
It's totally valid. It's just funny that you axe them on their birthdays.
That is, I mean, I guess that's just them taking advantage of the reminder of, like, hey, it's somebody's birthday. Okay, they're up for review. Right.
Or it's like when Netflix will say, are you still watching this show? Mm-hmm. It's basically that when their birthday notification pops up.
I mean, if you think of it as toxic, then so be it. But I don't really see the toxicity there.
Yeah, no, you're clear. A bowl of awesome. After growing up being surrounded by self-serving, toxic relationships, I keep a mental checklist of every time I've helped someone out when there was no benefit for me. If for whatever reason that person tries to gaslight me and accuse me of being selfish, if I say no to something, I'm armed with everything I've ever done for them for nothing without asking for anything in return. Then I burn every bridge with them and cut them out of my life. Wow. That definitely seems like a result of, like you said, just being surrounded by
leeches.
Toxic people. Yes, exactly. He's had to build that defense mechanism up around him.
That's a really impressive strategy for cutting toxic people out of your life. So it's not so much that it's a toxic trait, it's a counter toxic trait.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that.
It's like he's got a built-in toxic radar.
Yeah.
But while I don't find that behavior itself toxic, it sounds exhausting. Like to have that, to feel like you have to take that mental log of everything that you've done for someone, because then that means that there's this constant anxiety or fear or worry that they're going to fuck you over at some point, or that you're going to have to use these weapons, in your arsenal. To always feel like your walls are up and like everything's on thin ice.
It does seem like a lot of work.
Yeah. But
it's something that I think if it's maintained, eventually becomes very low effort, because you've cut the... There are some people who attract, for lack of a better word, leeches. People who will just glom onto you and take your time, take your attention, take advantage of your generosity.
Yeah, it's usually when you're really generous and you're kind. People will step on that for sure.
And so this is somebody who's had the self-awareness to go, I can't allow that to drag me down, and I have to purge it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, hopefully you see that you're having to do this less and less as you weed out more bad seeds.
Right.
And you're just kind of left with, a sort of core, kind of more intimate, close circle of people that are cool. Yeah. Any toxic traits of your own, Mr. Ian? I didn't think about this beforehand. I'm struggling to. I'm just so perfect. I can't even think of one.
I don't think I have a lot of ways that I affect other people in a negative way. It's like, if it comes to toxic traits, it's usually me versus me.
Yeah, right. I feel like I'm about the same way. I do feel like I'm not good at keeping in touch with people. Like, even like really close friends. Like, I feel like I'm really bad at checking in.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Sending a text or get like, hey, you have time for a call? It's been like 6 months since I've spoken to some friends or whatever. Like, really close friends that when we get together, it's like a day hasn't passed. And like, I feel like they'll always be my friends. But and they'll check in with me. A lot of them will check in with me. And I'm like, I should do that more. I should just do it, period.
Do you feel guilty about that?
I feel pretty guilty about it.
Yeah, same. Because I have friends and I have family, especially extended family, that I could keep in touch with and could, communicate with regularly, and I just don't, and I feel really guilty about that.
Yeah, I do feel like it's something that I feel like I should dedicate a certain amount of time each week to that. You know, like I dedicate a little bit of time for going on hikes or for work and for sleep. There should be some part of my week that involves just reconnecting with some of those people in my life.
That might
working
be,
on it.
Yeah. Just put a 2-hour block on your schedule in the week.
That was Toxic Traits. That's all for that one. Really good stuff, guys. Keep it coming. Again, that's one of the channels in the Discord server. Link in the description below. Next up, we're bringing back Quirks. Just a few of them here. Just 2 or 3 that I wanted to point out. Quirks are always fun. We've all got them. This one's from Frempy. He said, when doing the dishes, I can't stop doing them midway through. I always have to finish the dishes without any stops or breaks. This has caused some burnt dinners in the oven and microwave beeps.
That sounds like somebody who has been conditioned to hand wash dishes instead of using a dishwasher, or doesn't have a dishwasher.
Ooh, that's an interesting point. Because I'm sort of the same way. Like I don't like, and I think what it is, because I never grew up with a dishwasher either. But I also think that when you're washing dishes, at least for me, it feels like it's something that you get into the momentum. You start building momentum, and you don't want to break away from it.
Yeah, you get in the zone.
You get in the zone. Yeah. And it's it's a pain. It's like you have to like dry your hands and then get them wet again afterwards.
Yeah. Kind of that's a negative quirk, because if you can't break free from doing the dishes, like you got to be able to multitask. Like if I'm cooking, I was taught to do the dishes as you're cooking. So like, you finish up with a pan, you can throw it in the sink, put some soap and some water in there, let it soak for a minute, and then when you have another break, you come back to that and you clean it and you set it aside.
Yeah. It seems like he's very much with the bulk mentality. He just does it all in bulk at once.
Yeah.
But if you are that way, then maybe wait till after the meal, so that there's not things in the oven, or there's not, other things that need tending to, because that's usually what I'll do. I'm a bulk washer. I like to do it all at once after a meal, but I'll do it after I've eaten. And there's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
What about this one from Jeremy? I can't stand having syrup on my eggs. When I have eggs and pancakes, I have to eat my eggs first so they don't get syrup on them. Not sure if that's a pet peeve or a quirk.
That's ambiguous.
Yeah.
It could be little column A, little column B.
Right.
I will say I despise powdered sugar.
Okay.
So like if I get pancakes or waffles or whatever, and I usually will tell them don't put powdered sugar on it.
Right.
And if they do, I'm like,
really? That's an interesting one. I feel like most people don't mind powdered sugar.
I prefer to choose like the I don't want the baseline sweetness up here. I want it to be, pancake, waffle, whatever it is, in its pure form. And I apply the syrup, I apply the butter, I choose my sweetness and savory and whatever parameters.
Yeah. You don't like a little powdered sugar donut?
Donuts are different.
Okay.
But even then, I don't like the powdered sugar donuts either.
Right.
I'll go for the ones with the chocolate frosting, or even plain.
Right. It's definitely not my first choice on anything, but I don't even think about it. If it's on my pancakes, I'll be like, okay, whatever.
I don't know why. The powdered sugar is just, it's like, I don't want that. I want control of the variables.
But you won't even get it on the side.
No. Yeah. No, I don't utilize powdered sugar.
Okay. Powdered, you ever like cough on, or like get it stuck in your throat, like you inhale some powdered sugar? That's probably my least favorite thing about it. It's not the taste or the sweetness, it's just that I'll just start choking.
So why, my question is then, why do you put powdered sugar on whatever when you could have just added sugar to the recipe?
I honestly think maybe it's a tradition. Maybe it's like an old school tradition, or maybe it's just presentation because it looks nice, according to some people.
I don't know. Maybe it's like that thing, like the way that you put like big granules of sea salt on the outside of something.
Yeah.
Where it's like you could have brined it but you put the salt on the outside because it gives it a nice crust. I don't know.
I think it is a presentation thing.
Yeah.
Because something with powdered sugar, I mean, it looks like it's just, you know, a fresh, like snowfall just went on it. And it looks pretty classy when it's done right.
I don't like Frosty the Blowman getting involved with my breakfast.
Leave Frosty out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I admire that. I respect that. The ADHD squirrel. When I'm very focused on doing something, I chew on my tongue. And sometimes, if the focus is prolonged, I chew my tongue raw, or even to the point of bleeding. I may want to invest in chewing gum. The name checks out. ADHD squirrel.
Yeah. And I recommend 5 Gum. Not because the advertisements are good, but because it is long lasting and of a pleasant consistency.
Yeah. I do like the 5 Gum. I would do Orbit sometimes, but I'm not much of a gum chewer. I mean, I obviously don't have a problem with chewing my tongue, but this seems to be maybe similar to like nail biting, right? It's like an oral fixation type of thing.
Maybe. I don't know. It's interesting because I do know somebody who they do that when they're sick. Like
Chew on their tongue?
Yeah. Like if they're sick, they'll like have a fever or whatever, and they'll wake up and their tongue is just like chewed to bits.
I wonder if that's just like a anxiety thing, or maybe
it's almost like a
comforting.
symptom. It's almost like a symptom of being sick. Is they're like, am I sick or not? Oh, I chewed up my tongue. Yeah, I'm getting sick.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
That is so weird. Yeah, no, that sucks, man.
Get some gum, or I don't know, just practice blowing up balloons. I don't know.
But then, like, if you chew gum avidly, don't you get like jaw problems? Can't that like mess up your jaw a little bit if you just chew gum every day, constantly?
I don't know. I think we would need an
expert on that.
Yeah, we need an expert witness for that.
I'm sure there's an expert watching. There's always an expert in the comments. All right, quirks. Any quirks you want to share with yourself? I know we had a recent episode where we discussed some more of ours, but any come to mind for you?
Let's see. I don't know. I guess, is it a quirk to just pocket check yourself every time you are heading out? Like, slap all the pockets, make sure all the gear is there?
I think that's just being prepared and double checking.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a quirk.
Okay.
If it's a quirk, it's a good one. How do you sleep? Are you a back sleeper or side sleeper?
Side sleeper.
Really? Left or right?
Ambidextrous, but a lot of times on the right.
Okay.
I guess I tend to sleep toward the side of the bed that I intend to exit.
Yeah, same. Which is usually like the one closest to the side closer to the bathroom.
Right.
Because I go to the bathroom all the time in the middle of the night.
You need to get your prostate checked, man.
I probably should. It's about that time.
Yeah.
Mid-30s.
Yeah. No, you don't sleep on that.
That's true. Literally.
And, maybe damaging to your dignity, but, worth it long run.
Yeah. That's a good thing. Thanks for suggesting that. I will get my prostate checked. And then we'll report back here.
All y'all out there, if you're mid-30s or later, get that Dr. Logfingers appointment.
Have you gotten your prostate checked?
No.
Okay. We should both do it at the same time. Not like in the same room, but, like that way we can both share our stories with it on the pod. We should both do it like in the same month, and then just one episode we talk about our experience.
Okay. Let me know when you schedule that.
It'll be entertaining and healthy.
Informative.
Man. All right. Weird news. These are some random news stories I found. Roller coaster was stuck upside down. It's a loop, and it got stuck right
inverted
for 2 hours.
I'd probably get a pretty bad headache from being upside down.
I heard like one of the older guys like fainted.
Yeah, no, it seems very unpleasant but survivable.
Yeah.
I guess I would just probably take the opportunity to take some pictures and videos.
Yeah.
And just call my parents and be like, hey, guess where I am.
Yeah. Taking some calls.
I don't know how taxing that would be,
Right.
like physically.
Yeah.
It could be fairly taxing. But
Right.
I would probably just chill and be like, okay, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have to wait it out.
I wonder what like the vibes were with everybody on board. If people were freaking out or if everyone was kind of like laughing,
Probably initially a lot of freaking out, and then
Yeah.
I guess, after a certain number of hours, you probably just start to build a rapport because you're all in the same
Exactly.
situation together.
Yeah. Kind of a bonding moment.
Yeah.
And this is unsurprisingly a festival/fair ride,
Yeah.
which I always feel sketchy about.
As well you should.
If it's a ride like that and they're able to set it up and tear it down in 20 minutes, I get a little sussed out.
Yes. I remember riding on one of those festival rides wearing the Chick-Fil-A Cow mascot outfit.
Were you there on behalf of Chick-fil-A? Or?
Yeah.
Really?
I was there. I don't remember. I was doing some promotional thing, and they were just like, hey, could you ride the thingy? And I was just like, okay. And then I did that, and then they were like, oh, you want to try this other thing? And it was like one of those inflatable slides
Okay.
where you have to climb up.
Yeah.
Dude.
With a rope?
Yeah, basically. Or like these little webbing handholds.
Right.
I did not have good manual dexterity in that suit.
You had hooves?
Yeah, basically. And I was like sort of leaning back and pulling myself up.
Yeah.
And I got about halfway up, and I look behind me, and there's all these kids just
Waiting on you?
No, like climbing up behind me.
Oh, okay.
There's like a whole line of kids, and I'm like, oh my god, if I lose my grip on this, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna tumble down and just destroy all these kids.
That would have been so good, though.
It would have been good, but bad.
Oh man!
But fortunately,
so you had like a cow help, like
the full suit. Yeah.
What was your visibility like through that thing?
It was okay. It wasn't too limited.
And how hot were you?
It was hot.
You must have been so hot.
Yeah, the head had like a little like a case fan in it.
Oh, that's cool.
But it was broken.
Oh no!
It was either like broken or the battery was dead.
Yeah.
So it was always pretty. Like I used to wear that and like go outside on the street, like spin a sign around,
That's awesome.
And
Do you have any like photos or video of that?
Somebody took a video of me like on that ride.
Yeah.
I never got that video, unfortunately.
That'd be great.
But I when I was doing that, like just spinning a sign outside the restaurant, I would go back inside, take off the outfit, go sit in the walk-in freezer, and then just there would be like steam rising off of my body.
Yeah.
They actually that's actually a thing at like at Disneyland.
Yeah.
They have to regulate the mascot characters.
Right.
Like they have a special room for donning and doffing their outfits, and then like a special like quick chilling room so they can cool off rapidly.
Wow. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. They're out there for hours in just the beating sun and dancing around.
Goofy having heat stroke in front of you is not going to make for a
exactly.
good day at Disneyland.
Yeah. Just traumatize some kids in the process.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. I never knew that you donned the cow outfit for Chick-fil-A.
I did a handful of times, yeah.
Were you the designated cow guy? Were you always the cow, or would other people do it?
I think I did a lot of the cow work. I don't remember seeing a lot of other people get assigned that duty.
They were just a fan of your performance.
Or maybe I was the right build for the suit.
Right. Yeah, you're the only one who fits. This is an art museum in Seoul, Korea.
Bananas.
There's a banana taped on the wall that was the actual artwork. And this random dude just comes by and eats it because he was hungry, apparently. The article says he skipped breakfast.
Who tapes a banana to the wall and is just like, it should stay there?
Right, yeah. Artists. Fancy pants artists.
This man is pragmatic. He's like, I'm hungry. Free banana on the wall?
This is the most Asian thing ever. Like, what, you going to waste food? Why would you waste food? It's perfectly good. This guy's got the right idea. I'm all on his side.
And he's just standing there chowing down. Security is showing up to protect this banana.
Yeah, because they're all Asian too. They're like, we get it. We were gonna do that if you didn't.
I mean, honestly, like I'm not an art person, but is he taping the peel?
That's so good. And that like becomes the new art piece. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he just like, it was like artception right there.
That was
out-arted it.
It was anarchist revising of existing art. There's a couple of good videos of people like really fucking up in museums. Like, there's this one area where there's a bunch of exhibits all on podiums, right? Mm-hmm. And somebody bumps one of them, and it just dominoes.
I've seen that. Yes.
It's brutal. And then there's this one where it's like a clock museum, and then a couple lets their kids just screw with this clock and completely break it, and it like falls off the wall, and they just walk away.
God, Americans?
I don't know that it was. It may have been.
Sounds like it. Was the domino one because she was like taking pictures, like doing a selfie or some stupid thing, like with a phone?
I mean, probably, but it was just like a little bit of clumsiness.
Yeah.
But to be fair, if you're going to have an exhibit like that, you should probably secure those things to the ground.
Right.
And not just have them be able to fall over.
Yeah, never underestimate stupidity.
In France, it was the one with the pyramid.
The Louvre?
Yeah. There's this famous bronze sculpture of a ballet dancer. Mm-hmm. And it has like old fabric, like a skirt. And I was standing there
like real fabric? Actual fabric? Okay.
Yeah. And I remember specifically standing there looking at it, and some tourists randomly just come up and like start messing with the skirt. They're just feeling it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
what possesses you to do something like that?
You don't touch the art.
Yeah, exactly.
And security came up and got on them right away.
Right, of course.
But I was like, wow, how entitled / ignorant do you have to be to just be like,
right,
I can go into a museum with
just priceless exhibits,
century old things, and just touch them,
filthify them. Yeah.
I mean, they should make tactile museums. They should have reproductions of whatever art.
You can slap them around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and market them to the dummies. The inconsiderate tourists are like,
right. If you want to like cup Michelangelo's balls for an Instagram photo, that's the exhibit you go to.
Go the replica Michelangelo. Yeah, exactly.
That's why we can't have nice things, man.
Yeah, and then you have protesters who will throw paint on painting. Like,
yeah.
Fortunately, it seems like they've been targeting paintings that actually have glass
right.
covering them, so they're just throwing paint onto glass.
Yeah.
Or the same protesters who glue themselves to streets.
Glue themselves to streets?
Yeah, they'll get in a line blocking traffic across the street, and then like glue their hand to the ground, like the street. And then recently, a couple of them in Germany, I don't know what they used. It wasn't super glue. It was some like quickset concrete or
right.
And they were like, we might have to amputate your hands.
Have you seen that video of the vegan protesters that go into a farm and they put the shackles on their necks?
Yeah.
And then the machine gets turned on and they all start freaking out because they think they're going to be sent to the butcher.
Well, no, they're freaking out because they're going to get like decapitated.
Oh, we were right.
Machinery.
Yeah. That's what I meant. That's so funny. It's so good.
I don't know. Like when you have a really strong belief about some social cause and you want to protest it, you can go to the extremes.
Yeah.
But at some point you're endangering yourself, and I guess some people are okay with like this cause is worth risking my life for.
Right. Yeah.
But there's
You want to be martyrs.
maybe, yeah, but there's got to be a more effective way to reach the audience that you want to hear, your message.
Yeah, I think people just go for like the easy route, which is shock and awe, or maybe they have that mentality of like the more bold and dangerous something is, the more impact it'll have. Like, oh wow, he cares about this issue so much that he's willing to put his life on the line for this.
Yeah.
There could be some of that. And I get it to a degree, because I'm sure that they didn't start doing that from day one. It probably started with like smaller things, smaller protests, trying to like spread the word, and they realized like this isn't changing anything. We need to step it up, and it sort of escalates.
Protesting against climate change, protesting against, industrialized farming is futile, as I see it. Because if you really want to try to be an agent for change in those things, you have to go play the game. You have to go get a buttload of money.
Right.
You have to get a bunch of lobbyists together.
Yeah.
You have to get a bunch of industry people in on your agenda.
Right.
And approach it that way. Like,
you have to make people money. You have to make someone money in order for that to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, we want to, drive your profit by making your industry less cruel. Well, if you can actually do that, good luck.
Yeah, right.
More power to you, but most of the time I don't think that's going to be effective.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got to be tough. It's got to be tough to believe in something that much.
Are we just jaded as
Yeah, we might be. Let's talk about one thing we haven't discussed yet: our worst injuries that you and I have had. This is your suggestion.
I actually don't have anything that extreme.
I was going to say neither of us are like super athletic, I would say. And
you go snowboarding.
Oh, that is true. I do have a story about that.
Okay.
Couple.
Most of my injuries are either cutting myself on accident, not on purpose.
Have you ever needed stitches?
A couple times, yeah. Like,
oh, really?
Like I tried to catch a throwing knife.
Intentionally?
It was just bad instinct. It bounced off the target. It was coming right back at me, and I was like, "Oh, I can catch this." Ow! I've cut myself many times. One time, I was the one of the seams on my car seat had split. The seam popped.
Yeah.
And all the thread was just ruined. And so I took my whole car seat, removed it out of my car, and rolled down the upholstery. Like, I had to look up YouTubes on how to do this.
Whoa.
And then I got to the seam that was split, and I stitched it back together with really, really high strength thread.
Yeah.
But in the process of doing that, as I was trying to get like fasteners released, I was using my knife to try to kind of pry something so it would loosen up. Mm-hmm. And I slipped and sliced myself real good.
Yikes.
And it was Sunday, and nobody was around, and it was 5:45. All the urgent cares, all the urgent care clinics closed at 6, and I was like,
shit. And you had to drive yourself?
No, there was no seat. There was no driver's
There was
seat
no
in my car.
Seat. That's right.
So
Uber?
I was like, I thought about that, and by the time I thought about that, it was too late. And I was just like, this looks like it needs stitches, but I'm gonna wrap it up real good, and just keep on trekking. And it ended up, it healed up okay.
Damn.
Probably my most notable injuries are broke these 3 fingers.
At the same time?
At the same time, I was playing football on asphalt at school. I was in like, I don't know, 4th grade or something.
Like tackle football on asphalt?
No, it wasn't even a tackle. It was just I I wish my parents had got me sunglasses when I was a kid because I was always going outside and be like, it's so bright.
Yeah.
I can't,
Right.
It hurts my eyes.
Right.
So anyway, I was trying to play football and I just ran into somebody.
Okay.
I just full on ran into somebody, fell, and as I fell, like my hand was like this under my body.
Oh God.
They weren't like flopping around.
Yeah.
But I was crying. I was like, this hurts really bad.
Yeah.
And something's wrong. And it took like hours before I could convince somebody to like actually like
take you.
Yeah.
Take you
and so I had to go and get those little finger splints on all 3 of these fingers.
Good Lord.
And that was coincidentally the time we were learning cursive. So when I was supposed to be learning cursive, I was literally just holding a pencil like this.
Your handwriting's all fucked up.
Oh, my handwriting is actually fucked up from a deeper level, which is called Dysgraphia, which is a medical term for your handwriting looks like shit. And there are
ironically every doctor.
The irony is not lost on me. But there are multiple causes for dysgraphia, like poor motor control or other reasons why it happens. I don't know why I have it, but my handwriting is shit.
Really?
And I can't even read my own writing half the time.
Really? It's that bad?
It's bad. And so I never really learned cursive. I barely learned just standard handwriting.
So, because I remember like maybe a year or two ago, you gave me a birthday card for my birthday.
Yeah.
And it was messy. Like the handwriting was definitely messy.
Yeah.
But I was able to make it out. So when you do stuff like that, do you like have to focus on like, all right,
yes,
this must be legible. I need
I'm
take extra care.
Extra careful. I write very slowly.
Yeah.
And it still comes out looking like half-assed.
Yeah, it's still chicken scratch, yeah.
But if I'm writing fast, it's
game over.
Like, yeah. Have you heard Whiplash?
No.
It sucks.
Don't think so. Yeah.
Okay, so imagine you wake up and you literally, like you're on your back, and you literally cannot lift your head forward to get up. You have to turn on your side, and then kind of like get off the bed so your head is sort of dangling.
Yeah.
And then
God,
like slowly become upright.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Putting minimal strain on your neck muscles.
Oh. Well, I did have a similar experience to that, but not because of my neck. It was because I had a cracked rib. I had cracked my rib, and this was while I was snowboarding.
Okay.
Basically, it was the last run of the day. And
you're like, I'm going to go balls
out. I'm
going to
bomb it. I'm just going to just go down as fast as I can, like an idiot. And then I lose control. I kind of spin out, and I land hand first. I'm surprised my wrist didn't break. Hand on the snow, and then my elbow went into my ribs.
Oh.
And so all that weight, all my entire body weight of falling went right under my ribs from my elbow.
I'm surprised your arm didn't get messed up.
It did. There was like not a bone protrusion. I don't know what you call it, but you could see the bone or something was sticking, trying to poke through my skin.
Oh, so you probably dislocated your elbow.
I think so. But then within an hour, it went back in and it was fine.
Okay. Well,
I don't know what it was. But
if it works, it works.
There happened, yeah, no shit. There happened to be like a medic nearby with like the snow patrol. It was like perfect. He had like the, what do you call it? Little sled. And he happened to be right there and he saw the fall and he rushes over. He's like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm all right." And I was like, adrenaline and stuff. And I take my jacket off and he's like, "Oh yeah, everything's fine. You're going to be all right." And then he sees the thing my bone trying to stick out. And he goes, and he starts freaking out. He goes, whoa, okay. And he starts radioing for like back. He was like, we got a situation code, whatever, 39. He's like, all right, just hop in. He helps me into the thing. And eventually that went back in. It was completely fine. My arm, my elbow felt fine. But then I was feeling all this pain in my ribs, my chest.
Like that showed up later.
Yeah. And then I got an x-ray. They're like, yep, you fractured your rib. And that, like, I could not get out of bed. Like laying down, you couldn't lean forward whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to do this thing where like I had to like turn on my side and then sort of roll up off of the bed. It was very difficult.
That sounds similar to having whiplash.
Yeah.
Because there's like certain parts of your body where you can't apply strain to them.
Exactly.
So you have to find a workaround to avoid that.
Yeah, and like I don't know. Do you wear a cast when you have whiplash at all, or no?
I wore one of those neck foam things for a while.
Yeah.
For like several days, just because it helped. But
because that's the thing with a rib is that there's not really anything they can put on you.
You can't really do much about it.
Yeah,
you just got to suffer through it.
Yeah. So that was probably one of my worst injuries. I've never broken a bone. I mean, that is a fracture, but that's the most any bone of mine's ever broken.
I exploded my toe one time.
Exploded it?
Okay, so you ever microwave a hot dog? And then
yes, I have.
And then the tip of the hot dog just kind of goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You microwaved your toe?
No, my parents were modeling, and I don't remember this at all because I was too young.
Yeah.
But they had this big steel bar for like scraping up tiles.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was laying, against the wall, and they were like, "Ian, don't touch that." Now,
famous last
at some point, I think my parents probably learned that saying "Ian, don't touch that"
enticed you more.
Was just a trigger for me to go touch it.
Yeah.
So they changed their tactics at some point. But anyway, I went and proceeded to touch it, and by doing so, I lifted it up and dropped it on my toe. My big toe, which just did the hot dog thing.
Yeah.
So I had to go and get
God.
that stitched up, and
that's gnarly.
I have to look really close to tell which toe it was. Mm-hmm. I think it was my right toe.
Yeah.
Like the last time I looked, I was looking really close to see like where are the scars from this.
Right.
Because this was a pretty catastrophic toe explosion.
So those doctors did a good number on you. They did good work.
And neither one of my big toes has a messed up nail bed, so
nice.
I came through that one okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it helps that like when you get injured when you're really young like that, you just heal. Like your cells are just champions.
There's like a regeneration modifier.
Wolverine. Yeah, honestly, I did tear my ACL, or no, it was my meniscus.
Oh.
I tore my meniscus. Another snowboarding incident. I was in high school actually, and it was the first time I had ever snowboarded. I was in a class with my mom. And the first step, like the instructor's like, all right, everyone, first thing, bend down and strap in your bindings. And so I bend down and instantly it just tears. And I just fall over and I'm like, ah. And my mom's like, what are you doing? My mom thinks I'm joking around. I'm like, Mom, I can't stand up. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, just stand up. I was like, I can't. Like my leg is, anytime I try to straighten out my leg, it's excruciatingly painful. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because this used to happen before this, leading up to this, for years. Every now and then when I would bend down, just picking something up around the house, it would feel like my knee would dislocate. And it would be extremely painful. But I would always extend my leg, pain, and then it would pop back into place, an instant relief. And so that's what happened this time I was snowboarding. It popped out, but at first I was like, oh, this is fine. I'll just stand back up and it'll re-pop in like it always does.
Yeah.
But this time it didn't. It just stayed out of like dislocated. And
how did you get that fixed?
So interestingly enough, after that I was on crutches. I couldn't walk, right? So I was on crutches, and it was embarrassing coming back to school like that and people asking like, oh, what happened? I was like, snowboard, tried to do a backflip, 1080 off the high ramp. But we were in PE, it was ROTC, people were playing soccer, and I'm just sitting on the field, kind of cross-legged with my crutches on the side, waiting for the bell to ring. The bell rings, and I start getting up, and I unfold my legs. As I'm uncrossing my legs, it pops back into place. And just like that, I can walk. Like, I just start walking. Like, I still remember first sergeant looking at me like, you fucking piece of shit. you damn liar. I'm like, no, I swear.
So was it...
But it still was a torn meniscus somehow, and I had to get surgery. That's what they told me, and I never really got a full explanation from any professional, as to what the whole like dislocating thing was about.
That's really interesting because I had a couple of times around high school where I felt it sounds like what you're describing, which is like like you need to pop your knee.
Yeah.
And it was like, I couldn't do it. I would try to extend it and it would get too painful and I would give up.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that happened, but for some reason it resolved itself both times. It was a mystery. I was like, what's wrong with my knee?
Yeah. But you were still able to walk with it. So like mine was like debilitating. Like I could not physically walk until it was popped back into place.
Oof.
Because extending it any more than, that was insanely painful.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. My knees are probably just weird.
Yeah, I've got some bad joints. I've always had bad joints. But similar to your tile, whatever, the tile tool story, I also got an injury as a result of not listening to my parents' orders. This was when I was in maybe middle school, and I was with a buddy of mine. We were at the park, and my mom actually took us, and we both had our skateboards, and there's this huge hill, just like, basically it's just this little sidewalk, and it's just really steep hill, and there's grass on either side, but it's just this really narrow sidewalk that just goes down steep, and I'm like, you can get a lot of speed on that.
Oh yeah.
And my mom told me, Kyle, don't go down that hill. So what do? I go down the hill
on a bike or
on a skateboard. Sorry,
a skateboard. Okay.
On a skateboard of all things. And so I start going, and I'm just building speed insanely fast. And then I start getting the speed wobbles, where it's like, and I know I'm going to eat shit. So I just jump off my board in an attempt to land on either patch of the grass on either side of me. And I completely miss. And I just rolled down the cement, the hard pavement. Boom, 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 boom. And that's how I have this massive scar on my arm till this day. It's my biggest scar that I have. And
some serious road rash.
I was cut up everywhere. I was blood just rushing down my arm. And my friend, I still remember my friend ran to get my mom. Linda, Kyle went down the hill and ate shit. And my mom was so mad. She was so mad at me. And I was so fucked up. And like, I was trying to like keep it together. Like, I had like tears in my eyes and stuff, but I was trying to keep it together because I didn't want my mom to be like, I told you so, but she still did, obviously. And I remember there were some older like college guys like that were playing ultimate frisbee, and they watched the whole thing go down, and they were just laughing their asses off at me. Dude, they were laughing so hard. I think one of them was like, "You good?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." But later that day, while I was in bed just recovering, my mom took my skateboard, broke it in half, and threw it in the trash can. Threw it in the dumpster.
That's heaping punishment on top of punishment.
Yeah.
But could have saved your life.
Yeah, honestly, probably.
You remind me of a story when I remember when Razor scooters were all the rage.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I was very upset because I hadn't gotten one, and it was towards the tail end of their popular era, and I was like, I need to get on this. So I managed to get a knockoff Razor, and there was a hill in my neighborhood, and I was like, I'm going to take this thing out for a spin. Now, I did not have any footwear on. I was barefoot.
Oh, my God. Okay.
And so I start going down this hill, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And it was at that moment that I learned how the brakes work on the scooter.
Oh, yeah. Just get really hot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just this little thin aluminum shell that presses down on the back wheel. And so I start braking. I'm like, oh no, my foot's burning. And then I'm like, oh no, I either have to burn the shit out of my foot or just.
Oh my God, that's so good.
And there's like at the end of this hill, there's a cul-de-sac. So I'm just crushing it down this hill and like ow, braking. And then somehow I ended up to do enough. I managed to do enough braking that all I did was plunge into the driveway and crash into the garage door of that house.
You leave like a dent of yourself in there?
Yeah, not even like extreme enough to dent it or anything.
Nice.
I just like whammed against it. And then And I learned
Never went barefoot again.
exactly. Because
It's amazing you're alive sometimes. Like,
I like to say, in most alternate universes, I am dead.
you're already dead. Yeah.
I'm one of the few survivors. Yeah. I have a perfect record of not dying.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
100% success rate.
Yeah, that's true. A+.
So I'm gonna keep that rolling as long as I can.
Yeah, no, that's a streak you want to continue. It's a hot streak for sure. All right, well, I think it's that time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much again for watching this episode of Super Special. Once again, Discord link in the description. Would love for you guys to join our awesome community that is continuing to grow. We have around 8,000 plus members now, which is super awesome. Yeah, this was fun. I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for jumping in, checking it out.
See ya.